Hey, this is Shaun with the Atlanta Tennis Podcast powered by Go Tennis. Check out our calendar of Metro Atlanta tennis events at letsgotennis.com. And if you know Bike Friendly Atlanta, or even if you don't know Bike Friendly Atlanta, go to bikefriendlyatl.org. Check them out, like and subscribe on social media. They're doing great things to help keep our streets safer. Also, we want to hear from you. We want to hear you and your story on the Atlanta Tennis Podcast. Go to letsgotennis.com/my story. You might have your story featured on the podcast. Today, this is the ultimate guide to getting your kids started playing tennis. Today, we are talking about how you can help your kids understand some tennis etiquette. And maybe this is for some of you parents, families out there that just don't get some of the little things as to how we treat each other on a tennis court. Now, why is it important, Dave? So we're going to start with the you have no idea what you're doing, it's your first time on a tennis court conversation. And then we'll move into the, you and I are playing a tennis match, and here's how we keep things going and how we get along. So, Dave, good start. You're at the pool, and you got your kids, and you're going to let them go play a few minutes of tennis. Now, you and I have got some horror stories on that one. Where do you want to start?
I think basically it's like it would be kind of the same thing as I'm going to let my kids run over to the park by themselves. I probably wouldn't do it that way. I would probably escort them over just for a few minutes to kind of get the lay of the land and see what the courts look like. Are there other adults on there I think might be irritable, towards my kids being there? I think, Shaun, most of it is just being courteous to other people, and especially in an environment you're not absolutely so sure about, the etiquette, how you treat other people. Bottom line is go over there assuming that you know nothing and looking to learn and not interfere in somebody else's court of play. If you do that, you're probably going to make more good headway with whoever else is there, if anybody is, rather than ruffle feathers thinking that the world revolves around you.
That's your kids. Yeah. And the kids run out, they got no shoes, and they got their tennis balls. And if nobody's on the court, you know what? I love it when kids are on tennis courts. If they're comfortable there, they're throwing the tennis ball. I'm good with that. Give them some little tennis rackets and let them play. I'm not going to say your kid has to have shoes.
Right.
I'm not worried about those little things, but if there's somebody already there, if I'm teaching on the court or I'm hitting with a friend, let's say you and I are playing a match, because we've done that once or twice together, and we're playing a tennis match, and 4 or 5 7-year-olds come out on the court, they're gonna find a way to just kind of do it wrong. And I think maybe the parent either at least coming out and saying, hey guys, make sure you don't bother the nice gentleman playing a tennis match as much as possible. Now, it isn't going to be perfect, because even our tennis ball is going to go flying over to them, and we're going to ask them, hey, do you mind tossing us our tennis ball back?
Yep.
But at some level, there's that space. They say you try to avoid that space, and you try not to yell too much. You're not just throwing the ball over there. So there's some things that we in the tennis world find obvious, but I don't think everybody does.
Absolutely. And I think, like what you just said, if the mother or father comes over. Now, number one, I'm not going to tell you you don't have to wear shoes. A lot of the courts have a policy about wearing some kind of shoes. I get it. But if you go over there and it's summertime, you're going to find out real quickly you need something on those feet, because that asphalt gets really, really fry pan hot. So you might find that out the hard way. But if me and you were playing, we'd be sitting over snickering, going, "Yeah, we'll see how long this one lasts." But at the same time, I think what you just said about, if the mother or father comes over, or whoever's watching the kids comes over and is explaining a little bit of some basic, courtesy knowledge to the kids. Hey, this will be your court. You got these other 2 guys that are playing here. Try to stay off their court and don't hoot and holler too loud. Have some fun. If I heard somebody doing that next to me and you, and we could even be playing a pretty serious match, I would probably go, you know what? They are going above and beyond what most people would be. And I'm willing to give a little bit to let these kids have some fun. And of course, my balls are going to go over there too. And as long as I throw mine to them and they throw, I throw them theirs and they throw me mine, I'm going to laugh and hoot and holler a little bit. Like I've had that with pickleball on a court next to me. People think about all these pickleball. Da, 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 da. Hey, I don't think maybe one or two pickleballs rolled over on my court. And mine was over there a couple of times too. And I was teaching next to a pickleball foursome playing. And it was no big deal. It's just a matter of, are you ready? And can you, lower your, or what I tell all my players is, if something's next to you, use your parental block that you innately have. We all have it, and block out what's over there and accept it that we're trying to get some recreational play in the store.
And understand that we're trying. So there's the thing, right? If the kids, they run over and they stop and they know we're playing, that's the kid that's trying, saying, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't mean to, right? Do you mind tossing me my ball back? It's the kid that comes flying across my court, right? Or the kid, as your one of your favorite examples is, they find the nearest gate that they find as opposed to the nearest gate to their court. Now, in the Atlanta area, we've got a whole lot of HOAs, and we're used to the 2-court facility that might only have one gate. And I get that. My neighborhood's great because we've got my court that's fenced off and your court that's fenced off, and you can play without bothering me. And that's fine. But public parks don't have that. You got multiple courts together. The point is, are you trying? Are you trying to keep that separation? And if you as a parent, I'm looking at you parents, if you as a parent talk to your kid and say, just try. If I can see that you're not just haphazard all over the place. I see you're trying to let me play my match. I'm good with it because we're all going to bump into each other with a tennis ball or a pickleball. It all works. And we as coaches know how to do it. We can hit in certain directions into the corner to try to keep tennis ball. Like, we know how to do that, but we're experts in this concept. Now, there's some of those little things. You don't go running around during a point. You don't cross behind in between points or games. You get permission. Just be polite in any other way. If you're crossing somebody on the sidewalk, you just don't go barreling down the middle. There are etiquette expectations, and kids don't have those yet. They come from the parents. Don't make it come from me.
Yeah, I think, and I've had case in point where I've been on the court, and a little kid will be on the next court, and his ball will roll over behind me, and he'll start to run over there and get it. I will literally stop. I don't care where I'm at, serving, returning, whatever. I will look at him and say, listen, for your safety, because I don't want you getting hit by Shaun's serve that's coming at me and I let it go by and you get hit by it. I'm just trying to keep you safe. And if you stay on your court and when our point is over, I will roll it back to you, and vice versa. If mine's over there, you can roll mine back behind me, then we all are going to get along safer. And it takes literally 20 seconds right there. And all of a sudden that little boy or girl now looks up at tennis as a very friendly, we get along kind of a thing. And that's what we need more of in this world. Even though mom and dad didn't teach you, you can be a teacher too. And if a parent wants to come up to me and say, hey, don't talk to my kid and tell them all that, then I'm going to say, then it's your job to go back before you put them on the court and get them to understand the way this works. If you don't want to do that, you need to step back in the store. So I'm going to try and facilitate and be nice and cordial. If somebody don't want it, I'm glad to let you have it.
What somebody's going to teach the kid, either it's going to be you, or it's going to be me, or it's going to be an accident. And I don't want it to be an accident, because you're going to wonder why I didn't protect your kid from my serve.
That's right.
Now, when we switch gears and we talk about the etiquette of playing a tennis match, we've all played a match. If we've played before, if you've played enough in league, whatever it is at any level, we've all played the match with the terrible warm-up person, the person who's hitting big first serves or overhead smashing away and making you. So there's some etiquette in the I already know how to play arena as well.
Sure. The biggest, I guess, divider is that what you see on TV is not what you see in regular probably 99% of all of the matches played. We have 3 tennis balls. So, you're warming up. And if you're in a tournament or some kind of a format like that, you're a timed event, then you have a limited amount of time. You probably should have really warmed up before, hours before. And you can't always do that in a tournament, but that's what the goal is. Then when you get out there with your 5 or 10 minute warm up, you got limited amount of time. So you're literally hitting balls to each other. You're not trying to dissect the other guy. You are a little bit, but you already know the player if you played enough. And I'm really just trying to finalize the warm up and assess where I am. And then when we start serving with a couple of minutes to go, I'm serving the balls, fairly around you so that you can catch them and you serve them back. So we're trying to maximize our warm up time together. That's it. It's not about hitting winners anymore. So that's,
And that's, who was it? It was, I played a match at one point. Somebody, it's like, I was the worst guy ever to warm up with because I think I'd framed 2 or 3 balls over the fence in the warm up, right? And they just didn't know what to expect from me. And I'm kind of an offbeat kind of player in general anyway, but that's me. But it wasn't as I was trying to win or trying to lose the warm up. And that's a phrase we talk about, is trying to win the warm up, that kind of thing. But calling the score out, being polite, it's a polite sport and it's out there. We're being social. Yeah, we want to win, but we all want to make friends. And in the same way, you bring your family out to the court, you want to get started, and you're playing next to some people that know what they're doing. Just maybe pay attention and maybe see if the ball rolls across. Why don't we think about how we're interacting with others? Or maybe, I don't know, take 5 minutes, watch something like this and do some research and learn how to treat people when you go out to start playing tennis with your kids.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest examples I remember doing, and also I try to share with all my kids, is it's like going to your first party. You have really 2 choices. One, you can walk away from the party at the end of it and be the biggest fool in the school, whatever it's middle school, high school, whatever. You can be the biggest fool because you got out there early and didn't know what to do, and it wasn't the cool thing to do. Now you've got about a month to live it down because they're going to come at you at school all the time. Or you can go not knowing what to expect because it's your first party, and you can watch for 5 or 10 minutes and see how the flow is going. I learn a few things, and that's always my first go-to. Take a few minutes. Don't be the first on the floor, and take your time and learn a little bit. What does the mood look like? And you'll learn some things. And then you learn something every time you go out there. You're going to educate yourself like a champ. And to me, that's the best way to learn anyway.
This has been the ultimate guide to getting your kids started playing tennis. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. Talk to you again next week. Thank you, sir.
You betcha, sir. Have a good day.